There's big news in the Pokemon community, guys. The mobile game that took over the world, the game that got everybody off their couches and on the streets in 2016, catching Pikachu and Charizard and this, that, and the third. You guys have probably played it. And there was a new update that came out. And boy, oh boy, maybe some stuff in the game was for a little bit more suspicious reasons than you originally thought. This was an article written on Threads by user Public, and it's pulled together from a couple of articles, one of them being this Niantic article. And it's titled Niantic Spatial Partners with Coco Robotics to accelerate the future of autonomous delivery. If you guys don't know Coco Robotics, it's referring to these little delivery robots. There's a bunch of different brands of them, but this is the one at least that's like rolling all over LA. Looks like this. Also, a complete side story. My editor will put a timestamp if you want to dodge this little story real quick. I went to UC Berkeley, and on campus, we had these types of delivery robots, not Coco, a different one called Kiwi Bots, and it did the same thing, and it had like an associated app, and there was like a raffle for a subscription service, and I won a 1 month subscription, so I was getting $1 boba delivered to me for like a month straight. It was great, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was that there was a massive controversy with the Kiwi Bots on the UC Berkeley campus, and this happened in like 2019 or 2020 because KiwiBot claimed that they used special AI technology so that the robots autonomously drove themselves around the UC Berkeley campus to go deliver your food. Turns out that actually wasn't the case. Instead of using their AI system, they actually hired a whole bunch of people from Brazil for dirt cheap wages of like $1 to $2 per hour, had them working like 24/7 round the clock, driving these delivery robots around. So the reason why the delivery robots kept crashing and things like that was because it was one poor person, driving the robot around and not their AI technology they were talking about. And once that was actually exposed, KiwiBots got canceled and they got pulled off of UC Berkeley. And occasionally you can still find like one lone KiwiBot somewhere, but they got completely canceled because of the unethical labor that they were doing. So if you went to UC Berkeley during that time, I'm curious if you were around for the KiwiBot controversy. But going back into this story, sorry, I just wanted to tell that little thing. You playing Pokemon Go actually train robots and you might not even know about it. So Public writes, 30 billion photos collected over 8 years by hundreds of millions of people who thought they were playing a game. But Pokemon Go was not just a game, it was the largest crowdsourced mapping operation in history. And now that data is driving real robots through real streets. And they talk about the March 10th partnership, where Niantic Spatial is going to power Coco's delivery robots with its visual positioning system, also called a VPS. So basically, the robots are going to drive around, take snapshots of nearby buildings, match it against the database that is substantiated by Niantic's media that we all took, and it's going to pinpoint the robot to the accuracy of a couple centimeters. So, how did players unknowingly build a massive 30 billion photo dataset for location tracking? Well, in 2020, Niantic quietly added AR mapping. If you didn't play Pokemon Go, I played a lot of Pokemon Go. AR mapping is absolutely hated by a lot of people in the Pokemon Go community because it's a really sucky task. It takes a long time to do. You get poo-poo rewards for it, but basically in the app it'll be like, oh, you want to scan this like AR scan thing, and then it'll tell you where to go. It'll be like, go to this building, go to this landmark, whatever, and then you have to get your phone out and like try to scan it to the best of your ability, and you scan it for like 20 to 30 seconds. You upload it and you get like the most measly rewards possible. I hate doing them. I did it like once and I was like, dude, what the hell, this sucks, and it didn't even register. It was like your upload failed or something, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, never doing this again because it's not worth the rewards. But that was an in-game task that was added to Pokemon Go that people were doing. And you wonder what they were doing with the AR mapping? Yeah, they were collecting that data. Of course they were. That is astronomically wild, right? By building it into a game and gamifying it, providing players with a reward for doing this task, Pokemon Go managed to get millions of people, live people on the ground, scanning landmarks and things. That is what allowed them to build such a robust data set because every single year, one Google car is going to come around and drive around. The issue with that is that everything is taken at the exact same location, at the exact same speed, at the exact same lighting conditions. But by doing this, by sending thousands of people to the same landmark to film it over and over again, you get a ton of different data points, right? Different heights of cameras, different daytimes, right? Daytime, nighttime, different lighting, different weather conditions. Maybe it's raining one day, maybe it isn't. That is what allowed Niantic to build such a robust data set of 30 billion images. And the result is For over 1 million hotspot locations, Niantic Spatial has thousands of images. And these images are going to solve the issue that delivery robots have, because delivery robots need to be very, very hyper accurate. At least in my experience, when it was at UC Berkeley, way in the beginning of delivery robots going around, they sucked. They didn't know where they were going. They would get stuck in the middle of the sidewalk. They would fall over too, and people have to come pick them up again. They would get stuck in the middle of the sidewalk, or they would just deliver to the wrong side of the street. The accuracy is really important for the user experience. And the article highlights what's next, because Coco is not going to be the only one that wants this data, of course. And Niantic Spatial is building an open API where any robot phone or AR headset can query into it to know exactly where it is. And people in the comments are real something something about it, right? Users are saying that it was scary. The data collection happened when people felt playful and unguarded, and that people were getting fake in-game prizes while billion-dollar tech was being built. And this user adds this: it was clear in the app, basically, they didn't tell you what the data was going to be used for, but that this is AR data that was being collected. This is a screenshot that a user crisscross adds, writing, "No, Pokemon Go made it very clear in the app when you were scanning a location and players were informed." You knew. It was a specific AR task that you had to click into, open, and it literally says if you spin the photo desk, you can get an AR mapping task and help collect AR mapping data for this location. Again, they didn't tell you what the data was then going to be used for, but you knew what was happening. Pokemon Go also had an option to go and completely disable all this AR mapping, these AR tasks, if you would like. And that's kind of what people were saying in the comments too. Like, sure, yes, they did tell you, I guess, that this is like AR mapping data that you're collecting, but they didn't, again, tell you what it was going to be used on. And this isn't quite unknown. The partnership with Coco Robots did, crack things open and was like, hey, this is a bit suspicious. Oh, what? But Niantic Labs did put out this article November 12th, 2024, titled "Building a Large Geospatial Model to Achieve Spatial Intelligence," where they basically highlight that at Niantic, they're pioneering the concept of a large geospatial model that will use machine learning to understand a scene. They talk about the benefits of geospatial models, and the article highlights that Niantic's VPS, right, their visual positioning system, is built from user scans taken from different perspectives at various times of day. Again, highlighting the AR mapping that is in Pokemon Go. In 2024, they had 10 million scan locations around the world, and they highlight that they receive about 1 million fresh scans per week. So this is something that Niantic has published and discussed in the past. And there's also this CIA conspiracy as well. This is an article posted to Network World written by Brian Lunduke, highlighted a history of somebody called John Hank, who previously worked in the US government, had founded a company called Keyhole that was backed by a firm In-Q-Tel, which is the venture capital firm of the CIA. Keyhole produced Earth, later renamed to Google Earth, and then Niantic Labs was founded by John Hank. So there's also that. Now, this is money not directly received from CIA, but their venture capital firm, still connected though. Does the CIA have an influence in the production, the build, the usage, and the data that Pokemon Go has and produces? Don't know. But this is just very, very interesting in the gaming space, and in general, the world of how gaming is influencing technology and what is happening. And the Lunduke Journal adds that there is a myriad of other problems, again, including way, way back being funded by the CIA awarding medals, the alleged royal family of Saudi Arabia owning Pokemon Go building models of private spaces. And people in the comments are really 50-50. People are highlighting that this is scary and that unless you live completely off the grid, there's no way you can have any of your own privacy. And that people are theorizing this might expand beyond just Pokemon Go into every web-based media sites, collecting and providing your data to AI and other companies. What are your thoughts about all of this? This is definitely really scary to hear about. As somebody who plays or who played a lot of Pokemon Go, I have not recently. With the AR mapping, they did not tell you what it was going to be used for, but you could take a look at it and be like, I wonder why Pokemon wants me to go scan a bunch of buildings outside for no reason. Wonder what they're going to be doing with that information. So I'm curious how you feel about this. Did you ever play Pokemon Go? Would you play it after knowing this information? Would love to hear your thoughts with respect in the comment section down below. And with that, if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators. Or on Ko-fi, I have free resources there, and I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. or Thursdays at 7:30. Hope to catch y'all there or in another video. Peace.